What's going on, YouTubers? This is Jei Geri Fishing here, and today I'm gonna do a little bit of explaining on the spinner setups that I use. In the first episode you saw me really tearing it up at one of the local ponds by my house. Today we're actually at Quill's Pond. I call it Quill's Pond because he's the one who found it. It's a great spot, a lot of big fish in here. We have still yet to catch some of the big ones. I mean, and we've hooked into some 3s and 4 pounders. I know there's bigger ones in here. The other week that we were here, probably about a month or so ago, I got lucky and hooked into one using a crankbait right at the bank, surprisingly. Today, we're going back to the spinners. I love using spinners, excuse me, because they cause a lot of vibration. They're bright. During this time of year, it's always very cloudy, it's very windy here in spring. Right now it's the 18th of April, and it's just crappy out. Very windy. The water is usually very murky. Luckily this pond actually has pretty clear water for what it does. And one thing you always have to take into account when you're fishing, the clarity of water is a big must. You have to understand is clear water, you want more natural. The dirtier the water, you can brighten it up a little bit. So what I throw normally is a white spinner. It usually got either 1 Indiana blade, 2 Colorado blades, or a Colorado and a Willow. I don't like using just the 2 Willow blades. I feel it burns it too fast. I like a slower presentation. I like the Colorado and Indiana blades because they really push a lot of water. It causes a lot of vibration, and that's where the fish come up and hammer it. So I have a white one rigged up right now on my Dobbins 7'3" heavy fast action rod that I got back there. I'm going to show you the ones that I have on me right now. This here is a chartreuse and white single Indiana blade. Okay, this has a Rampage Minnow on it, which I cut the top off so it fits a little bit better. This is, I believe, is a 3/8. It might even be a 1/4. I don't even know off the top of my head, but the one blade, it runs it really slow, excuse me, and it throws off a lot of water. This keeps it running slow too. It's a lot of action at a slow pace. You run it near any of these beds that the bass starting to make during the pre-spawn when they're searching for fish or they're searching for whatever to eat, and they hammer this. This is one of my favorite go-to colors. This was the color that I used the other week in my first video, the white and chartreuse. It brings out a lot of strikes. The color stands out. These bass can see these baits for at least 3-4 feet in front of them when it's muddy. When the water is clear, they can see clear across the lake for this kind of bait. So, go to. My other one happens to be a Team Menace lure. I love chatterbaits. Okay, they are my all-time favorite. It's a hybrid between a jig, swim jig, and a spinner. Okay, this here is the Natural Shad that Team Menace makes. This is a Pulse series. Okay, it's a 3/8 head. This has a ZMAN Minnow that's on it. All right, that's also in the same exact color. Got an awesome jointed tail back here for a lot of action. It's weedless. Phenomenal setup. This blade, which is so different than a regular ZMAN, is that it's got the rounded sides and it's a lot wider. It allows it to throw a ton of water, a lot of vibration, a lot of flash. I love it. This is my go-to chatterbait now in almost any type of tournament fishing that I do. You gotta have one rigged at all times. Sadly, right now I'm waiting on a couple reels to come in, or I would have this rigged right now, or just have my one that I'm running with. And you really gotta, what's nice is that it's so easy to use. You throw it, you crank it in. Now, the other thing that a lot of people always tend to forget when it comes to using spinners, chatterbaits, is how fast do you burn them in? Do you burn it fast? Do you work it real slow? What I've learned is with pre-spawn, you need to slow it down. The temperatures outside are very low. Right now we're at a really super hot 45 degrees. It's really terrible outside. The wind is up. The clouds are crappy, but I like it cloudy. It's great fishing when it's cloudy. I do miss the sun, but you got to take advantage of these time periods here. The day when I caught those on spinners on the first episode, cloudy, rainy. You know, you'd be surprised what you catch during those time periods. So do not be afraid when you see some wind, when you see it's raining, when you see it's cloudy. You can get some of the best fishing in during those time periods. But anyway, with that being said, we're gonna get out here to Quill's Pond. We're gonna fish around for probably about an hour or so. I don't have much time. This episode here is gonna be a combined episode of fishing here and Lake Onalani tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be there. Quill and I will be fishing that pretty hard from about 9:30, 10 o'clock till probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's gonna be pretty warm, about 64 degrees. And we're hoping that we can get some lucky here. We can get lucky and catch some fish. So with that all being said, hey, let's go rip some lips and catch some fish. Stay tuned. Let's rock and roll.